Ladies and gentlemen, the clinical lesson was in 400 years ago an initiative of the University of Amsterdam, and the owner of the University of Amsterdam was the city of Amsterdam, and they asked to the researchers, hey, what you're doing is our money, and we will ask you to give one time a year a presentation in layman terms of what you do there. Okay, and there, 400 years ago, the young painter Rembrandt van Rijn could make this painting the clinical lesson of Professor Tulp. Okay, this tradition still exists. The last time is 10 years ago that I visited Holland, and that was in the Royal Concert Hall about mad cow disease, and there came a beautiful PhD from the United States, and she taught us in layman term that it was just a folding mistake of a protein called prionus. So they always have an actual subject. Today I take you into quantum medicine, and the reason is, and I never realized that it could so out of hand, the reason is that I want to share how excited I was when I start training this and when I start working with it, and I was surprised that our President Dieter knows this technology for other purposes than medical. Right. We today, we go into loop, we do a demonstration. I don't want to preach nothing. I don't want to convince nobody, my perai. I want only tell you how happy I was that with this method, what is very spectacular. Everybody knows that there is a mind-body relationship that is accepted in the world, and as the mind, the brains is most important to regulate everything, because you think you see with your eyes. No, you see with your brain. If I hang you upside down, after 20 minutes your eyes will be calibrating and you will see the world no longer upside down. If I put you back on your feet, after 20 minutes your eyes will recalibrate and you will see the world not upside down but normal. Then you have, it is the brain who controls everything. It is the brain who controls every cell, your whole body, and in fact your whole life. Okay, to explain what is quantum energy, what is quantum medicine, and what is quantum physics, I'll show you a 7-minute trailer video, which is called The Secret.
We come forth not to get you to believe anything. We see great diversity in that which you believe, and in all of that there is perfect balance. And so we come forth not to alter your beliefs, but to reacquaint you with the eternal laws of the universe. And we are here to express all of that to you in detail.
Let's talk a little bit about the nature of desire from, now don't get freaked out, a quantum physics point of view. Oh my God, this is going to talk about physics. I don't want to listen. Relax. You're going to enjoy this.
When we look around us, even at our own bodies, what we see is the tip of the iceberg. We could say the classical tip of an immense quantum mechanical iceberg.
Everything in the universe is energy. Your body's energy. The room you're living in is energy. Everything you want is energy.
And that's not a new idea. A fuzzy-haired guy in 1925 wrote on his chalkboard, E equals mc squared. And we couldn't grasp what that meant. What that says is on one side of the equation is mass and light and everything that we perceive, but it all equals energy. Everything is energy. And let me help you understand that just a little bit. There's the universe, of course, and our galaxy and our planet, and then individuals, and then inside of this body are organ systems, and then there's cells, and then there's molecules, and then there's atoms, and then there is energy. So there are a lot of levels to talk about something on, but when you get down to it, everything is energy.
There's enough energy sitting in there, in one atom, to do amazing things, to possibly even open up the doorways to lighting an entire city.
Think of this for a moment. Take your hand and look at it. Now your hand looks solid, but it's really not. If you put it under a proper microscope, you'd see a mass of energy vibrating.
And so everything is made up of the exact same thing, whether it's your hand, whether it's the ocean, or whether it's a star. The colored paper with ink on it is not money. It's just energy. And so part of the illusion that we're living in is that, these things are solid. They're not solid. Neither is a piece of wood, neither is a rock.
Get the proper microscope and go and look at a wall. That wall is not solid. That wall is a mass of energy in a very high speed of vibration.
It feels solid because of the vibration, the rate at which the molecules are vibrating.
Everything in the universe vibrates. In other words, everything moves. We live in an ocean of motion.
You are vibrational beings in a vibrational universe. Many people are not yet ready to acknowledge that they are vibrational. They prefer to see themselves as blood and bone specimens that they see in the mirror. And we want to remind you that everything that you observe with your physical senses is vibrational interpretation. In other words, you hear because your ears translate vibration. You see because your eyes translate vibration. You smell because your nose translates vibration. Your fingertips are translating vibration. Your tongue is translating vibration. All of your senses are about the translation of vibration, and that's why you are able to perceive your environment in the way that you do.
So it's very difficult for us as scientists or engineers or medical doctors or anybody to come to terms with the fact that what our senses are telling us is really not the whole story.
We've been so taught to live with our physical senses, hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. But our physical senses lie. Our physical senses don't tell us the truth.
If you only judge by your sensory factors, you'd believe the sun took a bath in the ocean every night and burrowed through the earth and was reborn on the eastern shore the next morning. I mean, the ancients used to believe that, but now you know better than that. If you judged only by your sensory factors, you'd believe that train tracks met in the distance. But you know better than that, and you turn away from your senses. If you lived only by your sensory factors, you'd believe that a dog whistle made no sound. But you know better than that, so you turn away from your sensory factors and you stand out in your yard and you blow away. And yet how many times, if we're not careful, do we find ourselves living at nothing more than the sensory level?
If we take a look at everything in the universe, we know from a scientific perspective is made up of something called energy. So what do we know about the properties of energy? Number one, all energy has a vibration. All energy has a vibration. It emits a frequency.
We are frequency generators. If you get close to someone's skin, you can feel infrared energy being given off. If you look at them, you're seeing light energy given off. We now have scans where you can put a machine around somebody's head instead of putting the electrodes on their head, and perceive and record the energy that their brain is giving off.
The most potent form of energy, by the way, is thought. It penetrates all space and all time. Every thought has a frequency. We can measure a thought. What most people don't understand is a thought has a biochemical and biological property. Every thought, which means it has a frequency. And so if you're thinking that thought over and over and over again, or if you're imagining in your mind, okay, having that brand new car, having the money that you need, building that company, finding your soulmate, if you imagine what that looks like, you're emitting that frequency on a consistent basis. Our job as humans is to hold on to the thoughts of what we want, make it absolute clear in our minds what we want, and from that we start to invoke one of the greatest laws in the universe.
You know, Albert Einstein, that's everybody knows it, but we use words like hertz and volt every day. But there was a Mr. Hertz, and there was a Mr. Volt, and there was a Mr. Marconi, the most know them because he played with radio waves. And there was a Thomas Alva Edison. And my personal champion, good evening from Kos, my personal champion was Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was a Russian, and he modified and invented all kinds of waves. So, and about energy at the same time, in Germany, Max Planck wrote his famous Max Planck matrix. And they were all in competition, and they act like musicians. They want funds for the research, they prostitute themselves to companies like General Electric. And Nikola Tesla, in 1934, he gave a presentation on Times Square, and in a boat in the Hudson River, there was a bomb. And the boat was unmanned, and with a push on the button, he could explode the bomb 5 kilometers far away, or 5 miles far away. Whatever. Any kind of modified waves and energy are highly actual these days. Because in the north of Chile, there is by every community in the world, donate to look in the black hole, to look in the stars and beyond the stars. I was there. There's a complete deserted area. And I was surprised that last year they changed from light waves into electrical waves. And we go to an hospital for a scanner. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. We have the CT scanner, the computed tomography scan. We have the PET scan, positron emission tomography, and other scans are all based on electric waves. Even X-ray are based on waves. Using a radioactive contrast by injection, we scan more precisely. However, don't forget, all these scans are in itself carcinogenic. Even a simple X-ray is. I hear yesterday from Dr. Calabut that there is a publication, 1.4% of all cancers in the United States is caused by diagnostic reasons, by this. The newest scan that I see last week, that you know already, in Singapore in the Mount Elizabeth Novena Hospital, is the Siemens PET MRI machine. The advantage of this scanning method is they put it together and it can pick up, let's say, if it pick up a 1 centimeter tumor outside the patient's pelvic area, that means that the cancer is in stage 4, blah, 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 and the surgery is no longer indicated and appropriate. So they go instead, because surgery is always first choice in cancer, except in prostate, and these days also except in breast cancer. For the rest, surgery is choice number 1. But with this new Siemens machine, they go a step further and they say we don't need the surgery, we do immediately the treatment, which is always chemo and radiation. So we are familiar with MRI scans, and today you will see an MRIT scan, molecular resonance imaging technology. It detects abnormalities, pathology, cancer and infections from parasites, bacteria and viral infections on a molecular cellular level. That's the point. Long before there is a tumor visible on a existing scan. And therefore how that works, I show you just one small picture.